Your body may be 55, but your heart might still be in kindergarten. Let's find out. Have you ever met someone who, at 55 years old, still throws a tantrum like a 4-year-old when they don't get their way? Or on the flip side, a teenager who responds to life's storms with the quiet wisdom of an old soul? Let me share a secret from my years as a profiler. Our emotional development has its own mysterious timetable. It rarely moves in step with our physical age. I remember once working with a CEO, let's call him Amir. Outwardly, he radiated authority, the sharp suit, the commanding posture, the room that always seemed to get a little quieter when he entered. But under pressure, if a colleague disappointed him, Amir would shut down, sulk, and refuse to talk. I'll never forget the look on his assistant's face. "It's like dealing with a child," she whispered to me once. And she was right, because emotional age is not about the years we've been alive, but about the patterns we run to when life tests us. So how do we spot our true emotional age? There's a simple but powerful question I ask my clients and myself. When someone you care about lets you down or disappoints you, how do you respond? Let me give you 3 classic responses, each telling its own story. And I'll show you real-life echoes from my practice. 1. The silent sulk. I once worked with a woman named Michal. Whenever her husband forgot something important, like their anniversary, she would clam up. Days could pass in icy silence. Did she explain what hurt her? Never. Inside, her pride felt too wounded, her vulnerability too exposed. She hoped, against all logic, that he would magically know what he'd done wrong and fix it without a word. That, my friends, is emotional infancy. No different than a toddler wailing for comfort without words, praying their parent will somehow understand. 2. The erupting volcano. Then there's the other end of the spectrum. Take Yossi, a senior sales manager I once coached. If he felt betrayed by a friend or colleague, you'd see fireworks, shouting, slamming doors, red-faced fury. On the surface, he looked powerful, even intimidating. But beneath the bluster, Yossi admitted to feeling small, lost, and afraid of being abandoned. That rage? It was just his armor. His anger was the roar of a frightened lion cub, loud but aching for reassurance. 3. The cold shoulder. And then there's the ice. Gila, a talented designer I mentored, would turn utterly cold if a friend hurt her. She'd act as if nothing happened, shrugging off the deepest wounds with an air of "I couldn't care less." In reality, she cared desperately. But for Gila, to admit pain felt more dangerous than to feel nothing at all. This is the mask of adulthood, but behind it, the fear of vulnerability reigns supreme. What then does emotional maturity really look like? After thousands of profiles, interviews, and stories, I've found it comes down to 3 simple but life-changing virtues. Let me walk you through them with lessons from the real world. 1. The capacity to explain. Imagine being able to calmly tell someone, "What you said hurt me, and here's why." Not easy, right? I worked with an executive, Tamar, who learned this skill late in life. At first, she saw it as weakness. But the first time she truly explained her feelings, without accusation, just truth, her relationships transformed. It's not about being pathetic. It's about having faith that you deserve to be heard and that others aren't your enemies. 2. The capacity to stay calm. Emotionally mature people know they don't need to explode to be taken seriously. I think of David, a client who once believed yelling was the only way to be respected. As he practiced self-control, he discovered a secret power. When he stayed calm, people listened more, not less. Maturity is knowing that self-assertion is always an option. You don't have to fire your weapons at the first sign of threat. 3. The capacity to be vulnerable. Finally, the bravest step of all, admitting you mattered to me. You have the power to hurt me, and you did. True maturity isn't about building walls. It's about allowing yourself to be seen, even in your weakness. I remember a senior police officer who, for the first time in decades, let his guard down and told his wife how much her words could hurt him. It changed their marriage. Vulnerability, I told him, is not weakness, it's strength under control. These 3 traits, communication, calmness, and vulnerability, are the pillars of emotional maturity. Some of us are blessed to learn them as children, surrounded by warmth and understanding. But for many, like the clients I've described, adulthood becomes a second chance. We must learn these skills like a new language, practicing them until they become second nature. And that's the most hopeful part. It's never too late to grow up emotionally. We may not have learned the grammar of emotional adulthood as children, but with patience, guidance, and courage, we can become fluent. Sometimes it takes 5,000 or 10,000 hours, just like mastering any complex skill. But each hour brings us closer to the life and relationships we truly want. So next time you feel that sting of disappointment, ask yourself, what's my first impulse? Am I sulking, raging, or shutting down? Or am I ready to talk, to listen, to open up? That's the real test of age. Not the candles on your cake, but the language your heart speaks under stress. Ready to go deeper? If this opened your eyes, you've only scratched the surface. I've spent over 17 years teaching police, CEOs, educators, and people like you how to read emotions, decode hidden patterns, and truly understand human behavior. Subscribe to my channel for more insights like this, each one a step toward mastering the art of reading people. Read my articles and start sharpening your skills today. Join my course and learn the complete profiler method, the same tools I use in real life to see beyond masks, beyond words, into the truth of who someone really is. Because once you can read people, you'll never see the world the same way again.